Hey guys, welcome to another video. I'm Chris, this is a Salty Trips channel, and today we are getting rid of our 12 volt batteries for good. No more 12 volt, lead acid, AGM, whatever. They're getting out of here, but we still have 12 volt systems in here. We have a 24 volt battery here, and how we're gonna run our 12 volt systems, stick around and we'll show you. If you've been watching along in our previous videos, we did partner up with Lifetime Batteries, and they gave us a 24 volt, 200 amp hour lithium battery that we're gonna parallel up with our existing 24 volt Lifetime battery for a whopping 10,000 kilowatt hours of power. So, and we don't have a ton of room in there. We still have the 12 volt batteries. I think they're AGM. I don't think they're lead acid, but we're going to get rid of those, but we're going to have to step down 24 volt to 12 volt to run our systems. And what we have got is these Victron Orion 24 volt to 12 volt 70 amps converter. And I don't think 70 amps is going to be quite enough to power all the the jacks that we need and stuff like that. So we are going to run two of these in parallel. So that'll give us 140 amps to power this system, to run the jacks, and it should be more than enough. I think one should be enough, but we just want to be precautionary. Show you how we figured out the numbers in just a little bit, but we'll get started on this project. First, we've got to cut the power to everything, and then we're going to install this, and we'll kind of do some explanation of how and why the numbers work the way they do, and why I would highly recommend switching to lithium, especially these Lifetime batteries. They have been working really well in the RV, and so far, and that's only 5,000 kilowatt hours. That's a 24 volt, 200 amp hour battery, which is equivalent to 4 100 amp hour 12 volt batteries. If you remember, the formula for wattage is amps times volts equals watts. So 400 amp hour 12 volt system is close to 5,000 watts. And 24 volt 200 amp hour is the same thing, 5,000 watts. So we just wanted to show you how we're going to set this up and why we set up with the 24 volt system. It's not just because it's cheaper. So let's get to it. All right, so this is our two lead acid batteries. They are two 6 volts run in series to get 12 volts. And we're going to get rid of this thing. And if you'll notice that all these AGM and lead acid batteries, they have this little vent that goes outside, especially in the fifth wheels, because it's possible for these things to emit some dangerous gases. So that's another benefit of having lithium batteries, is you don't have to worry about these off-gassing. So we can get rid of this box, this hose, and everything. So that's going to come out. Well, we'll just set this out of the way for now. Oh, I'm going to start by removing the negative cable. And these things are so heavy and they don't have a handle. I'm just going to try to use these ratchet straps to pick up on it. See if I can't lift it out of here. Hopefully this works. Oh. Oh. Whew, that worked. Oh, good. Man, one of these weighs almost as much as one of these. These things are freaking heavy. That's done. Now we got a lot more room to work with in here. All right, now we're just going to disconnect these and get that other battery in here. It took a lot to lift one of those 6 volt batteries out, and it took about the same effort to put this one lithium battery in here. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create to make these parallel, a connection between negative and negative and positive, And then when I reconnect these, I'll put this one back on this negative, this one back on this positive, and they'll be connected. And the reason I don't put the negative here and the positive here going to this is because it helps create a balanced system. If you have it in parallel, you put the negative on the last one and the positive on the first one, and helps create a balanced battery system. And we got some 2-aught cable, and I'm just going to take a rough measurement of where those need to go, about that long. And then I'm going to make 2 cables, one black for negative and one red for positive, and make a crisscross pattern with them. And I want these to be the exact same length so that they'll should hopefully fit perfectly together. And I just need to pull out enough just cut off enough here. I'll show you once. I won't show you all of them, but on every crimp, just pull off the sheath. That, and I've got this crimper in the description area below, and it's just super easy to crimp down. Slide that over. Little heat shrink. Do the other side. Just crimp it down. And I prefer using this, having a little propane torch, because like right now everything's shut off, so I don't have a 120 volt power right now to power a heat gun. There we go. So I'll make one more of those in black. All right, now we're just gonna put those together on the battery. All right, so I've got these connected parallel, negative to negative, positive to positive, and then, you know, negative to the shunt, and then positive to the distributor. But I have the battery off, so these things are isolated on their own. So right now what they're doing is they're balancing out. I probably will let this sit overnight and let them balance out before I turn this back on, so that they'll be completely balanced out when I kick it back on for them to charge, so they charge together. But then, so now we're gonna have to get to installing the Orion 24 to 12 volt converters. And I just gotta worry about the placement, and we'll go over that. But that was pretty simple. I'll leave links in the description area for the cables, the cable crimps, and all that stuff in the description area. And if you want to see how I installed this thing, I have a complete video install of the entire install of this Victron system. I'll leave the link in the description area below too. Okay, so these are our Orion converters, and we'll connect 24 volt to here, which will go to 24 volt to here, and then this is 12 volt output, which we will parallel and 12 volt output, and the negative goes to here, and it's all one common negative. So 12 volt and 24 volt, all the same negative, but 24, 12, and these will be our outputs to the RV. And that should give us 140 amps, running amps, and they're supposed to max out at, I think, 85 each, so that would be almost 170 maximum output. And you can adjust the voltage output of these by this little screw that you can see down here. You probably need, like, you know, a little screwdriver that you use to do your glasses with, but you can adjust it between 10 and 15 volts. And we're probably going to crank this up to about 14 volts, so that when maximum amount of stuff is running, the voltage doesn't drop too much. And I also want to have an isolator switch, so I'm probably going to put that, I don't know, somewhere right around here maybe. Then set these two probably right there. I'm going to play with it a little bit and see which way I like it. Maybe this way. Well, now we got that set up. We'll have 24 volt in, negative, 12 volt out, negative. All right, I got this all wired up, and I think I'm just going to mount this right here like this. That way I can have access to these nuts and the adjustment screws, which are a little hard to get to, but should not be too much of an issue. Then we just made a negative cable that will go onto our distributor bar. Let's put that on. Washer, lock washer, and nut. Then pop that down, and then that's all good. And that'll come back over here, attach to this. All right, then we'll put this cable up over here to this negative. And I think I'll just mount the switch here, about right here, and I'll have a positive go up here and then come straight back down and then loop back over here to the 24 volt. So I have a on-off isolator switch to my 12 volt system. I believe right here. Off, on. Pretty simple. It's the power in. I'm just going to cinch it down. You don't want to hit it too hard with an impact. Just snug it up. And then, so now I have two other ports here left, and one's going to be a charge controller for our solar system. And that's one of the reasons why I went 24 volt, is because we can use one. Like, we're looking at probably putting about 2,000 watts of solar on the roof here. If you have a 12 volt system, you can't use one charge controller to run 2,000 watts. You have to have at least two. And that's one of the reasons why we went with a 24 volt system, is so we can use about 2,000 watts and use one single solar charge controller. And that is because, like, if you try to take 2,000 watts and bump it down to 12 volts, you're looking at 135 amps. And I don't think there's any charge controllers out there that can handle that. So with our system being a higher voltage, you can cut that in half. And with the same setup, 2,000 watt solar, you're only pumping out about 69 amps to your batteries. So it's basically cuts it in half, so you can use smaller wire, you can use one charge controller, which saves you a little money and space. That's one of the benefits of going to a 24 volt system over 12 volt. And then these basically are taking the space of the 12 volt battery. So they just suck from the 24 volt down to 12 volt and run everything. And how do I know it's going to run everything? Like the jacks and like the lights and stuff inside, that's about all that runs 12 volt inside is lights and a couple little sensors or stuff like that. But the heavy load is the jacks. When it's raising and lowering the system, it needs a little bit more amperage. So how do I know it's going to handle that? Well, as soon as we get this installed, we'll talk about that. Here's a closer look with it all wired up. Pretty simple. I almost forgot to install the fuse. All right, to find out how much 12 volt amperage you need, you have to find out how much amperage your jacks are pulling. And the easy way to find out about that is you come up here and you find the fuses, and those fuses are for the 4 jacks, and they pull, and it's 35 amp fuse in there. So not all 4 jacks ever actually are going at the same time. And usually when they're just dropping or raising, they don't use much amperage. It's just when they're under load. And the only time 2 are ever working is when I lift the front up, the kingpin and the truck. So if both those are going at full load, that's 35 plus 35, 70. So the max draw, it should be 70 amps. But just in case, I went with double that, just to make sure I had plenty of power. Let's say there's some lights on or something, I got some 12 volt something draw from somewhere, and I pull those up. It doesn't overpower the system. It should have plenty. So, and all the slides only have 1 motor, and they can't be much more, maybe 40 amps, and only pull one of those in at the same time. I doubt they're much more than the jacks are, because the jacks have to carry much more load, higher load than the slides do. So that's how we figure out how much amperage you need for running a system like this. Like the lights and those 12 volt stuff, like, you know, the ignition for the tankless water heater is like minimal, nothing, hardly anything. So that's not really the issue. It's just, can those handle the jacks? And that's what the battery was. The battery has a high amperage output, so it can handle that stuff. And the parallel Orion system should do it. I watched another set of YouTubers, you guys may know, just did this exact same thing in their system, and they say it's working great when I messaged them. So we're going to power this thing up and see if it's working. All right, we got 50 amp, and we're going to go back in here, turn that switch back on, and that basically provides 12 volt to the system. I have the converter off, and see the system's kicking on. So we are going, like, I still have the battery disconnected because we're letting these you know, just balance out. So I got those disconnected, so these batteries are going to balance out, and then I'm going to, but the Victron system is still under charge mode, so it's still sending power to this bus bar. So when I kick this on, it should provide 12 volt power to the RV. So let's see how that goes. I heard it kick on because the vent fan kicks on when you do that. And see, it's not reading the battery because I got it disconnected. It's trying to charge it, but it's sending power this way, which is actually going to the 12 volt system, which I haven't set up yet, which I will. But the in-command system is kicking on, which runs on 12 volt power, so we know that's working. And it's saying it's 13.3 volts. I may just tweak those up a little bit just to provide a little more. And we'll turn these lights on. And see that voltage just dropped just a smidget when I turn the lights on. But so right now those Orions are kicking out 13.1 volts, and I went to go just use my voltmeter to test it out, and it is actually broken. So I'm having to rely on this to tell me what the volts are. We'll take a little screwdriver and probably adjust that a little bit. I have just the thing right here, a little screwdriver like this, which will fit in there and let us crank it up a little bit. So let's go do that. All right, let's see what that looks like. All right, so that bumped it up to 13.9. Let's turn those off. It's like 14.3 with the lights on. It jumps down to 13.9. So it's looking good. All right, guys, so the 12-volt batteries are no more. All done with 12-volt batteries. No more lead acid, no more AGM, just straight lithium. Got 10,000 kilowatt hours sitting here in this bay that I can power my RV with, and I got the 3,000 watt Victron inverter that I can power all my 120 volt systems with. Not all at once, but quite a few of them. If you are following along, speaking of following along, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, all that fancy mess. Give this video a big thumbs up if you're enjoying it. But if you're following along, you know, we did a test recently with the one battery running one AC, the TV, the internet, computer, refrigerator, all that stuff, and like 86-degree temperature. So you can go back and check that out. But we're eventually going to do another test and see how long it will last with these two batteries, with no solar, no other input coming in, just how long will these batteries last us. And you know, we did that test, and it's the fall, but like this is Florida, so it was like a little over 86 degrees outside. So I'm gonna wait for a similar day to pop up and to do that test again and see how long 400 amp hours at 24 volt will last us. Now remember, that's like 8 Battleborn 100 amp hour batteries in here. And think how much space that would go from one end to the other, and weigh a lot. And we didn't really gain a lot of weight from putting these two lithium batteries in, because we took the two lead acid batteries out that weigh almost as much as these two batteries. And if you have any questions about this install or lead time batteries, leave them in the description area below. I'm going to leave links to the lead time batteries down in the description area in case you want to get one. I already did a kind of another video about explaining about how good I think they are. That's why I partner up with them. I've gotten so many offers to partner up with so many different battery companies, but I chose them because I already picked them before they picked me, because I got this lead time 24 volt 200 amp hour battery before they even approached me. And then when they did, I asked them to send me another one so I could have 10,000 kilowatt hours in here, and they did. And you know, it's a partnership of mutual benefit, because I'm going to stand by them as long as their product is doing well. And as far as like price pound per pound, it's one of the best bargains for the buck. Like if you look at, let's do a little bit of calculation real quick. All right, let's do some apple to apple comparisons. These lead time batteries, the two 24 volt 200 amp hours, retail for the both of them together about $2,800. And if you get Battleborn, which is one of the biggest names out there, if you get 8 of their 100 amp hour batteries, you're looking at $7,600, over 2.5 times the price of these batteries. So you could buy, with the money you save on batteries, you could buy all this stuff you see here on the wall and have change left over. This saves you a lot of money. They got a good warranty. They're standing behind their products, so I'm going to stand behind them. Like I said, if you're interested, I'll leave links in the description area below. And if you have any questions about these Orions, I'm not an expert by any means, but I've learned a lot, and so far so good. Everything's working properly like it should. And we got rid of that 12 volt system. So I hope you enjoyed, got something out of this, and thanks for coming along. And like I said, hit that subscribe button, notification bell, give this video a big thumbs up. We greatly appreciate it. Leave a positive comment down below and let us know how we're doing. And we'll see you guys next week.